It's your boy, Sean Matrai here with vampires. So, vampires, we got top 8 in the Japan Meta Weekly with. It's a really strong deck. I will say this. It's a very strong deck, and what has changed? So a lot of you are probably wondering, what has changed with vampires? What makes this deck so good now, potentially? Alright, I'm gonna help you with that. And what makes the turn 1 so good? And it comes down to Sucker and Iblee. So if you don't know, Sucker and Iblee kind of changed the game for vampires entirely. Alright. So if you don't know, Vampire Sucker is a Link 2 that has a few effects. It takes 2 zombies, and it once per turn you can target an opponent's monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon to their field. Now you're probably saying, why are you going to do that? Well, there's reason. And when you special summon a zombie, you get to draw a card. So if you have Sucker, you reborn their monster, you draw a card. Now, it also accounts for yours. So if you bring one back from your grave, you're also going to draw a card as well. Now, the other effect of Sucker is, while your opponent's monster is a zombie type, you can tribute them for tribute summoning your vampires. So, you're going to be able to summon Baron, Duke, and if you wanted to, Vamp, by just tributing your opponent's monsters. So really, really good. Now, unlike, you might see a previous video by me on YouTube about vampires. Unlike before, if you're playing an Iblee build, you don't want Open Duke. Now, that's crazy to say. It's not necessarily bad if you do, but you don't necessarily want to Open Duke because we want to see our combo. And opening Familiar now is good. Opening it before was kind of not as good. But opening it now is really good. And what do we play in the list? Well, first of all, I know a lot of people get shocked because they see, not shocked, but scared because they see 3 Gozuki in this list. Do you need 3? If you have 2, you're fine. Just cut down the list and play 3 Desires. And you are completely fine. You might want to play 3 Desires anyway. But, because that's a combo starter, essentially a Foolish Burial. But, playing 3 copies of Gozuki is optimal, but if you have 2, you're fine. Alright, do not have a panic attack. Samurai Skulls are rare, so it should be pretty free to play obtainable. On top of that, we're playing 3 copies of Retainer, 3 copies of Familiar. Familiar really does help in this deck because it allows you to show the combo. I'll show you the combo in my replays, what you want to focus on, but Familiar really helps you get your combo going, and Retainer as well, so that you want to play 3 copies of each. 1 Kingdom, that can be up to 2. Ice Dragon's Prison, I do have 2 of this. I've debated on running 2 of this. You can easily throw 2 Ice Dragons in here. If you do not have Ice Dragon's Prison, don't worry, just run whatever backer you have, and you're fine. 1 Awakening and 1 Takeover. Alright, now for those who don't know, I'm going to go over what some of these cards do. Gozuki and Samurai Skull are both Foolish Burial for zombies. Except Samurai Skull is better because it dumps on summon, so you don't have to use it as an ignition effect, so they can't book you or compulse you, and then you can't get your effect. Also, when Samurai Skull is removed from the field by a card effect, opponent's card effect, you can float into another level 4 zombie out of the deck, so you can summon Retainer, Familiar, or Gozuki. So, if your opponent does not read Samurai Skull, well, then they're going to take a lot of pain by doing that. Now, on top of that, we also are running 3 Retainer and 3 Familiar. So if you don't know what Retainer does, is both of your vampires, Familiar and Retainer, can be special summoned from the grave by sending a vampire card from your field, or sending one in your hand from your field to the graveyard. And by doing so, you get to do an effect if you have 500 life points to pay. So you can special summon it. The special summon you don't need to pay for. But if you want to search a specific card, you need to pay life points. Retainer searches a spell or trap. So you could search Domain, Desire, or Kingdom. Familiar searches a monster. So Duke, Retainer, Baron, any of those. So, but the card you're mainly going to search up Retainer is going to be Takeover. So what Takeover does is if you have no cards in your field zone and all face-up monsters you control a zombie, and we're going to tell you how you're going to make that happen really easily. You get to activate a Vampire Kingdom from your deck, and then special summon one Dark Monster Vampire from your graveyard in defense position. So you want to activate Kingdom from the deck and revive your Duke. So what Duke does is, Duke has two effects. Its first effect is, when this card is normal summon, you can target a Dark Vampire monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, second effect, when this card is special summoned, you can declare one type of card, monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent must send that type of card from their deck to the graveyard. Alright, and it cannot be used as exceed material except for a Dark monster. Now, the one important thing about Duke here is that, when you summon it, you trigger Kingdom. So what does Kingdom do and why you want to play it? Zombie monsters gain 500 attack and defense during damage calculation. Only attack, not defense. Once per turn, when a card is sent from your opponent's deck to the graveyard, target one card in the field, destroy it, and send one card from your deck to the graveyard. Send one Dark Vampire from your deck to the grave. So, if Duke sends a card from their deck to the grave, triggers Kingdom, Kingdom sends a Vampire from your deck to the grave, and you get to pop one of their monsters. Very, very good. Now, on top of all this, we're also running a few other cards. Vampire Desire has two effects. First effect, target a vampire monster. Target a face-up monster you control. Send one vampire with a different level from itself from the deck to the graveyard. And if so, change the level of your monster to the level of that monster sent. So, for example, if we have Gozuki on the field, we activate Desire. Dump a Retainer, becomes level 2. It's essentially Foolish Burial. Second effect is target one vampire monster in your graveyard and target one monster you control. Send that targeted monster to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that monster. So, this can revive Duke, trigger Duke's effect to send the card from the deck to the graveyard, and then generate a pop. Very, very good. With Kingdom on the field, of course. Domain has another effect as well. Domain has two effects. You pay 500 life points. Then you can normal summon in addition to your summon that turn. Second effect of Domain is that whenever your vampires inflict battle damage to your opponent, you gain that many life points. Baron is an incredibly powerful card that once per turn you pay 1,000 life, target one monster your opponent controls and a vampire you control, switch control of those monsters. So it's essentially a snatch steal, because you're going to give them like a dead familiar anyway. So you can take their powerful monster. And then on top of that, we are playing, one Vampire Awakening. So Awakening is a trap, special summons a vampire from the deck, but destroys it during the end phase, and you can only activate one Awakening per turn. Okay. The extra deck, we went over Sucker. We playing one Sucker, one Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix helps you go into your combo, also gets rid of back row. One Nightmare Cerebus. This pops a monster. This is very good. Targets a special summon monster and then destroys it. If this is Co-Link, when this is activated, you draw a card. Also, Co-Link monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Security Dragon for a Co-Link bounce. A Nightmare Mermaid for the combo, Iblee. One Nightmare Unicorn for further bouncing. One Dreas, and one copy of Dark Rebellion. Okay, now that that's figured out, we're gonna get into some of the replays. Now, again, I'm gonna cut the volume down. The volume down here so that we can illustrate you what's going on, because I know a lot of you like the narration. Alright. So, let me show you here our replays. Okay. So pay very close attention. I'm gonna cut down the volume so everyone can understand what's going on.
Here I go. My turn. Ready for this? I activate my
Alright,
monsters.
so we're gonna go Samurai Skull. Samurai Skull here. We'll dump the Retainer. And this is full combo, by the way. When you open up Skull Desire and another Vampire, that's full combo. So we're gonna go completely off. So the first thing you want to do here is we want to trigger Familiar, pitching the Duke out of the hand. This is gonna search Retainer. Then we can activate Retainer's effect to the grave, dumping the Retainer. And this is gonna search Takeover. You want to search Takeover here. Searching Takeover is very important, because if you search Takeover, Takeover is going to allow you to end on an Iblee lock, and then also have a vampire Duke pop. So that way you can Duke pop, and then be able to still maintain the Iblee lock. Now, the one thing I forgot to bring up in the video, and this is something I want to go over in the deck profile, is the skill. The skill we're running is called Posthumous Army, and can be used each time your life points decreased by 1,000. All monsters on the field in both players' graveyard become zombies until the end of the opponent's turn. So we change all their monsters to zombies, and then they cannot make Baylang's or Link Disciple, so they have to run Mermaid. Now we go into Phoenix. Phoenix links off in the Mermaid. We activate Mermaid, discarding the Compulse. We special summon the Iblee, make Sucker. Now you're saying, how the heck did all that happen? Well, after we go into Phoenix with our Retainer and Familiar, then we can link below that and make Mermaid. After making the Mermaid, we can then summon Iblee out of the deck. Then you're saying to me, but Iblee's not a zombie. How do you summon Sucker? It takes 2 zombies. Use Posthumous Army. Makes them all zombies. So then we can summon the Sucker. And because we special summon a zombie from the grave, Iblee's now a zombie, we draw a card. He sets, activates Rhoda. Rhoda will search him a Goki Suprex. So that's the main combo you want to know. Goes into Mermaid, so he does have the out. Summons the Suprex, now goes into the Twist Cobra. Makes the Nightmare Phoenix, co-linking it with the Nightmare Mermaid, which will allow him to draw a card, triggering both the Suprex and Twist Cobra. Now we chain our Awakening here, and popping, we summon the Vamp out of the deck. I wasn't playing Vamp before. If you don't know what Vamp does, on normal summon, she gets to target one monster your opponent controls, 2,000 higher, and suck it up, almost like Destiny or Plasma, and then gain that much attack. And that can happen when a vampire is normal as well. So if you have another, if you have her on the field, and then you have a vampire normal summon in addition to being on the field, you can still steal. Alright, so he goes into Jet Ogre. We have a takeover set, so we're gonna wait on our pop. But we want to pop here because we don't want to go into Great Ogre, because then you can protect it and go for lethal. So we summon the Duke, declare monster, and then Kingdom triggers, pop, pop, pop the Weasel. So we pop it, and now 3 effects. He has no more plays but to swing over that. The Sucker, and we are going in. Activating the Domain. Domain pays 500. We are going to activate the Retainer. Retainer sending the Domain. We're going to search Desire. Now we can Tribute Summon, stealing his Nightmare Unicorn, sending our Kingdom off, because it can be any vampire card from the field, or hand. Link off into Sucker. Now we can Posthumous Army, tribute his head back, revive Duke. So we're going completely off. This is lethal to double Octo Stretch, by the way, by the time we're all said and done. We're going to draw a card because of Sucker. And then we're going to Desire, revive back our second Sucker. And this is lethal through double Octo through 3 effects. Very good. And Goki's down. And he does, in fact, lose. So very, very good. That's what we want to do. Now, you can see there how much this combo is impactful. Against people who do not have Mermaid, you're going to OTK them over half the time. Now here comes Bones. Right, here we go. And another duel. And once again, we do have combo, because we have the Desire and another Vampire. So we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to dump. We're going to go Familiar. Search the Retainer. We have a Duke already, so we could just search an extra copy of Retainer. Just get follow-up in the graveyard. Link. And then here we go. We're going to put Posthumous Army. Do the same combo I taught you before. And now we slow it down. Now he goes Pot of Duality. He's going to activate, adding the copy of Navigation from his deck to his hand. With opening that copy of Rod. Rod searches Eternal Soul. And then he's going to be able to go. Now we pop here because I do not want him linking off the Iblee. We do not wait. So we are going to pop here so that we can't link off until like a Phoenix. So we want to play around him having Phoenix. And now he can't nap because he's locked with Iblee on the field. Uh-oh! So we reborn his monster back. And then we're going to use Retainer to summon. That way we get an extra draw. That's why we brought this monster back. And also I want to potentially tribute over things. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and search. He cannot use the effect of Eternal Soul to summon. Now we go Familiar. We're going to special. Familiar will get to search Duke. Posthumous Army. We are going to link off into Security Dragon. Hello. Co-linking, we can get a bounce. Tribute over our monster to get Duke. Now we can Duke pop his back row. Dead Nav, because he can't use it with Iblee. We're going to make Adreus, which will give us a pop on the field. Add back our own Iblee. Adreus pop, and that's game. So you can see how this deck really pops off. So we had a double co-link bounce, and we could just pop and go for game. So very good. I got one more replay for you. So you can kind of see how vampires pop off. If you want to see me get King of Games with this, make sure you follow me on Twitch. We are streaming about 5, 6 p.m. tonight. Around that time tonight, EST. So I'm going to be climbing with Axe Mango. I'm going to link his channel in the description below. So if you do not know my boy Axe Mango, he's a vampire god. We are going to be doing this climb together. So make sure you do that. We're going to be doing in person. And possibly with Tobias 2222. I'll leave his channel as well. Alright, so he goes into Decode Talker. Decode Talker is going to activate Code Talker Alive. We're going second. So what are we going to do? We're going to normal summon Gozuki. Has no response. Gozuki will dump the Retainer, pitching the Familiar, and we will search the Domain. We're going to go for Domain because we might want to extend here. Alright, here's Vamp. Now, I figured at this point he has an MST, so we're going to try and play around it. So there's the MST, just like I said, remember? But we are going to link off into a Nightmare Phoenix. We're going to pop his back row, but we are not done. Pop this Miss Army, and we're going to pass. Because now we can't do things with Cybers. So anything that requires Cybers monster, we're going to lock him out of. We still have takeovers to follow up through all this. We're going to protect the takeover. Duke, get poppin'. Vampire Kingdom, dump the Retainer, get poppin'. Whale will special summon. Co-linking that, the Recoded Alive will special summon. And he swings over, but we're not done. Gozuki will activate its effect. Also, I forgot to bring up, if Gozuki is sent to your graveyard, whether anyway, we can banish another zombie to special summon a monster out of the hand. So it could be a way for us to extend. Now we go Familiar. We're going to send off our Kingdom. We're going to search Retainer. Normal Retainer to trigger the Vamp. Steal the Decode Talker. Go into Unicorn, and he is dead. Shuffle in the Code Talker so that way he can be destroyed by battle, and that is game. Alright, so again, link will be in the description below of my Twitch, of Axe Mango's Twitch, and also Tobias' YouTube. Also, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. We're almost to 600 subscribers. We're 400 more away for 1,000. That's where we want to be. So, if you can, sub, like, comment. More videos on the way. Appreciate it, guys. This is your boy Sean Matrai signing out.